I've had the honor of meeting him many times over the years, and most recently, a little bit over a year ago in Dharamsala, where I was given these Tibetan prayer beads that he blessed, that I wear all the time, especially when when Congress is in session. I'm told they're to help with my negativity. Sometimes they don't work, but he is always close to my thoughts. We are here because His Holiness the Dalai Lama means something to each of us. To some, he is a spiritual leader who guides us on the path of devotion. To some, he is a model for how to live a moral life through compassion, patience, and charity. To others, he is the leader of a nation whose people are being denied their fundamental human rights, to live in peace and dignity, to determine how they govern themselves. To many, he is all of these things. He has inspired us to action, and we can do no less than honor him in taking that action. And let me close with this. We are living in a time when the world seems unhinged. But as we gather today, I think of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I think of his life, what he has endured, and his continued optimism, and his continued commitment to love, and to achieving a world that is better for all. And I feel hopeful. I feel hopeful at this moment. And so we may not be able to change the past, but we all can play a role in helping to influence the future. And I want a future that embodies the values and the love and the compassion and the commitment to peace that is represented by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So, Tashi Delay to everybody, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for welcoming me here today.
And on July 2nd, we received the joyous news that His Holiness has confirmed the continuation of the Dalai Lama Institution, thereby honoring the earnest appeals of Tibetans and global supporters alike. And for generations of Tibetans, His Holiness has been a moral compass, a spiritual anchor, and a force of legitimacy and authority on Tibet, providing unwavering leadership throughout decades of exile, while maintaining extraordinary dignity in the face of tremendous challenges. And to the world, His Holiness stands as a beacon of hope, as the Nobel Peace Laureate and a tireless champion of compassion, nonviolence, and dialogue, providing moral guidance in an increasingly complex global landscape. Now, with profound gratitude for his life and leadership, I pray for the continued well-being and long life of His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama. May His Holiness's enduring message of peace, compassion, warm-heartedness, and altruism uplift all humanity. May truth and peace prevail on Tibet. Thank you, everyone. Touch the letter.
I want to say happy birthday to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but I also want to remind us, or remind myself, that part of what he teaches us is that love and compassion are basic needs. And I'm looking forward to using that framework as we move forward with this legislative session. Thank you so much.
I was delighted to offer the resolution in the House to celebrate the 90th birthday of the Dalai Lama. Yes, you can applaud for 90th. Although I have heard the Dalai Lama plans on living for another 40 years, so we will have many more opportunities to celebrate.
Resolution that is now law, signed by the Senate President Karen Spilka, signed by the Speaker of the House Ron Mariano, and that speaks to such appreciation and honoring of the Dalai Lama's birthday and this year, this much needed year of compassion. So it's a Massachusetts General Court resolution honoring the life and legacy of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. Whereas His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, has dedicated his life to promoting peace, compassion, and universal responsibility, earning worldwide recognition as a tireless advocate for human rights, democracy, religious freedom, and environmental protection. And whereas in 2020, the United States Congress passed the Tibetan Policy and Support Act, making it official United States policy that the selection of Tibetan Buddhist leaders, including a future Dalai Lama, should be determined solely by the Tibetan Buddhist community. Now be it therefore resolved that the Massachusetts General Court hereby commends the life and legacy of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, and further extends to him its gratitude for his pursuit of global peace. And be it further that a copy of these resolutions be transmitted forthwith by the Clerk of the Senate to His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, and the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
It's an honor to celebrate the birth of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, and commend his lifelong dedication to the Buddhist principles of peace, compassion, strength, and wisdom. Once again, on behalf of Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, we extend our best wishes to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on his 90th birthday and pray with him for unity, peace, and compassion throughout the world. Thank you.
It's my honor now to read the citation for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. On behalf of the residents of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I am pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation in recognition of the 90th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso. Signed, Governor Maura T. Healy and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll.
This is the year of compassion. His Holiness has been the living embodiment of that ideal. He reminds us that kindness is the greatest strength we can offer one another. His teachings resonate with people from every generation and every nation, encouraging us all to build a more just and peaceful future.
For decades, the Dalai Lama has been a powerful voice for human rights, for dignity, and for religious freedom. His message of peace and justice continues to give hope to millions across the globe. I honor his lifelong dedication to the Tibetan people's struggle for justice and self-determination, and I wish His Holiness continued strength and joy in the years ahead.
His lifelong dedication to peace, compassion, and understanding has touched millions across the world, including right here in the Commonwealth. As a spiritual leader and Nobel Peace Prize laureate, His Holiness has reminded us every day that kindness and nonviolence have the power to transform lives. On this special day, we just want to say thank you for everything he's done. May his legacy continue to shine brightly for generations to come. Thank you.
You've spent your life standing up for your people, for peace, and for the fundamental dignity of every human being. You also reminded us that our purpose in life is to help others. That example has earned the world's admiration, including mine. Today we celebrate your courage, your compassion, and your incredible legacy.
I'm sure many of you have already had the opportunity to look at the photographs that are on display here today. And if you haven't, you should. I had the honor of seeing an exhibit recently in Western Massachusetts. And one of the things that becomes very clear is the power of one person, the power of one individual to bring compassion and goodness and inspire others down that path. Certainly, that has been the life mission of the Dalai Lama. So when we find ourselves worried about the future or concerned about what might be happening in the world, I invite you to remember that. One person can, in fact, make a tremendous difference, and that one person can be all of us.
Of the Year of Compassion. So through events like this, we aim to share His Holiness's timeless message of compassion, kindness, and peace, and values that the world truly needs more of today.
We are going to be free!
A Case for Compassion, Dalai Lama's translator shares message in Campus Visit. In an hour-long talk, Jinpa explains how anger and fear are unsustainable. Seeking answers, Amherst College freshman Luke Healy sat hunched over his notebook in the back of Johnson Chapel on campus, intently taking notes as the Dalai Lama's primary English translator, Geshe Thupten Jinpa, spoke about compassion. The environmental study's major hopes to pursue public policy and make a positive impact, but said the weight of global challenges, especially in the political arena, can feel overwhelming. Right now should not really terrify you because this is temporary, said Jinpa. He said calling the current state of the world temporary is not an expression of naive optimism or stoicism, but an acknowledgement that the present climate of anger and fear is unsustainable. A broader type of perspective is helpful because this current level of energy, of outrage, anger, advantage, is not sustainable because what this expects people to do is to be constantly driven out of fear, and as a motivating factor works up to a point, but it is not a strategy that works in a sustained way, he said. At another point, Jinpa said, we just don't have the luxury of giving up on humanity.
Geshe Thupten Jinpa's talk at Amherst College reminded us that compassion is not just a beautiful ideal, it is a practical strength we need in difficult times for healing, for understanding one another, and for building a more peaceful world.
첩직된 참로 아니게 두대 팀장나로 제시学员的也会干了아니지 하수래 가신 조부실이 양아서 휴게스学都讲
Today was the second day of the March for the Food Bank, happening at a critical time where food insecurity is impacting countless families in our region.
The March for the Food Bank, back for the 16th year, marching across Western Massachusetts for the Food Bank of Western Mass.
Good morning, Jim. I know today is the second day of the March for Food Bank. Yesterday we walked from Springfield to London. Today we have another 23 miles to go. you've been doing this for a long time, and I'm curious when you started doing this and why this is important for you.
So this is my 13th year doing it, and I do it because I care about the fact that we have a lot of people in our community who don't have enough to put money to put food on the table. We have a hunger problem in this country, and there's not a single city or town in Massachusetts or anywhere else in this country that's hunger free. And so, marching to raise money for the food bank means $1 rains will help feed somebody here. And I'm honored to be with members of the Tibetan community.
Yeah, so this year we have the local Tibetan taking part in the walk as part of the global year of compassion in honor of the 90th birthday of His Holiness.
Mandala is an ancient, age-old tradition, anciently practiced by Buddhist monks in Tibet. The Zen Mandala that's being consecrated right here in the heart of UMass is truly significant because it is based on the theme of compassion. Compassion not as an abstract idea, but we want to see, experience, and bring compassion to life and make compassion a working model. So it's truly significant, not necessarily pertaining to Tibetan Buddhist tradition alone, but really speaking to the needs of the 21st century, especially in the challenging times we find ourselves in.
Wellness initiative that the Fine Arts Center is undertaking as we understand the connection between the arts and wellness and how the arts can help reduce anxiety, isolation, and stress. I noticed people commenting upon a new design that was born. So they went from this very intricate mandala to almost the starburst as the colors and the sands were all combined together before it was scattered to the wind. So it was really nice to see people just have that moment, that shared moment of a deep inhale and an exhale when it was finally done.
The mandala of this destruction is return to water. That's nature. That's where we belong to. That's where we come from and we belong to. And in between, we lose sight of that equation, and then we mess the world, right? And we mess ourselves. And how mandala is a reminder or a mirror to tell us how impermanent our bodies and this material life that we have accumulated is. And when we are done and our roles are finished, it's time to say goodbye and go back to nature.
And I see so many friends from the Tibetan community here. I'm blessed to represent a vibrant Tibetan community in western Massachusetts and in central Massachusetts, but all throughout this state and all throughout this country, I have been inspired by the tenacity and the gentleness of the Tibetan community, who always urge us to do better, to be kinder, to love more.
In Western Massachusetts, the Tibetan community's call to action, call to justice, call to peace and compassion and a world fueled by love, not violence, has charged us equally.
But I also want to recognize that the Tibetan community in Western Massachusetts, at least from what I can see, always practices a year of compassion and always sort of tries to make our world and our communities better and stronger. Just this past Monday, I know that they provided lunch at the Amherst Survival Center, an organization that's very close to my heart, and it's not the first time. I also want to thank the Tibetan community for reminding all of us about the value of celebrating diversity and cultural identity and persistence in doing so. Thank you so much for all of that you do for us. In addition to your activism, and really I have to say your polite activism, and your kind activism around combating authoritarian regimes. And we're going to have to take a page out of your playbook. So I appreciate you modeling that for us.
La